Welcome to The Explainer. So, if you've ever felt completely stuck, just totally overwhelmed by your options, or maybe frozen in place because you literally don't know the next right step to take, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're exploring a deeply relatable, highly practical framework based on the piece When You Don't Know What to Do Next. We're going to map out exactly how to move from that heavy, paralyzing feeling straight into a state of grounded clarity. So take a deep breath. It is perfectly okay to feel unsure right now. We're going to unpack this whole thing together and find a clear, actionable way forward. Okay, let's just dive right in by addressing the exact feeling that sits at the very center of this whole experience. It's that nagging, terrifying question, what if I make the wrong move? Look, if hearing that gives you an immediate knot in your stomach, I completely get it. That paralyzing fear is so real. You're standing at a crossroads. You desperately need direction. You've thought it through from literally every angle. Maybe you've prayed about it, you've waited way longer than you ever wanted to, but still, nothing. No strong signal, no obvious answer dropping down from the sky. And as the days pass, the pressure just builds, the stakes feel impossibly high, and that fear of taking a wrong step kind of takes over your entire mind. All right, Section 1, the pain of uncertainty. So this isn't just about lacking a roadmap. It's about the heavy emotional burden of trying to figure out your life without a clear signal. You might actually be in one of these incredibly common situations right now. Like, are you agonizing over choosing between two competing opportunities, or both seem equally good, or maybe equally risky? Or maybe you're navigating a massive life transition, a career change, a big move, a relationship shift. Or perhaps you're just trying to make the absolute right decision, and you're waiting for this moment of crystal clear certainty that simply isn't showing up. The tension here isn't just basic confusion, it's the intense fear behind it. The fear of missing out, or worse, messing up your path entirely. But listen, the resulting hesitation, the overthinking, the constant delaying, you need to know that this isn't happening because you're flawed. Actually, it's happening precisely because you care so deeply about getting it right. Moving on to Section 2, rethinking how guidance works. To step away from those anxiety-inducing expectations from society, the ones that demand loud, immediate answers, we really need to rethink what receiving direction actually means. There's this ancient wisdom in Psalm 16:7 that illustrates this perfectly. It says, "The Lord gives me counsel. My heart instructs me in the night." You see, true guidance is usually quiet. It's formed over time, often in those still, quiet hours of the night when the rest of the world shuts down. It's rarely forced in a single, dramatic, earth-shattering moment of revelation. It might not be flashy, and it certainly isn't loud, but it is always consistent and deeply rooted.
And here's what we often miss about how this guidance actually takes shape. We've been completely conditioned to expect undeniable, immediate, bold font answers delivered straight to our inbox, right? But usually guidance forms as conviction over time. Think about what that actually feels like. It's a slow build. It's a gentle, persistent tug in a certain direction that just doesn't fade away after a few days. It forms as clarity through alignment, when your values and your actions slowly start to line up. And it forms as direction through obedience. The ultimate goal isn't just to hand you an instruction manual for every single minor decision. The goal is to shape how you discern. It's about developing your spiritual muscles, not just handing you a temporary shortcut.
Let's look at Section 3, shifting your focus. Now, the absolute crucial shift in this journey happens when we move away from that frantic, anxiety-driven demand of, I need instant clarity, and move over to a much more grounded truth. I need consistent alignment. Think about the massive difference in energy there. Frantically chasing instant clarity, that leaves you breathless, stressed, and super prone to impulsive decisions. But seeking consistent alignment, that grounds you. It actually stops you from running after every shiny new possibility and instead strengthens your internal awareness. It fundamentally changes how you experience the entire waiting period. Let's just slow down for a second and really embrace this simple yet profound thought. Society screams at us constantly, act fast or you'll miss out, the window is closing, make a move. We are all infected with this chronic sense of urgency. But wisdom whispers something very, very different. It says, discern well so you don't misstep. Just think about the truth in that. Rushing to find clarity usually just creates a much bigger mess of confusion and regret later on. There's just profound power in slowing your pace, taking a breath, and prioritizing careful discernment over reckless speed. And there's a deeper, honestly much more encouraging reality behind the silence you might be feeling right now. God is not hiding direction from you like it's some cruel cosmic game of hide and seek.
He is developing discernment within you. Think of it like going to the gym. A personal trainer doesn't just lift the heavy weights for you, right? They train your muscles so you're capable of lifting them yourself. Over time, you aren't just blindly following a rigid set of instructions, you're actually learning to recognize the leading yourself. You're tuning in to the specific frequency of that quiet internal guidance. Which brings us to section 4, 5 steps to discernment. Let's walk through this practical playbook step by step, because this is where the real work happens when you're stuck at a crossroads. First, stay rooted in truth. When everything feels wildly uncertain, you've got to anchor yourself to what you already absolutely know is right. Genuine direction will never contradict fundamental truths. Second, pay attention to inner signals. Your internal environment often registers truth way before your logical brain catches up. Third, create space for quiet. Honestly, this is arguably the hardest step today. You simply cannot hear a quiet whisper in a noisy room. You have to intentionally turn off the podcasts, silence the notifications, and just sit in the stillness. Fourth, seek wise counsel. Find people who have a track record of wisdom and aren't afraid to tell you the hard truth. And fifth, move with what you know. Action aligned with truth is the ultimate cure for paralysis. Let's zoom in on step 2 for a second. When we talk about inner signals, we're specifically looking for 3 things: peace, restraint, and conviction. This is often exactly how direction solidifies. For example, have you ever felt a persistent hesitation? Like maybe an opportunity looks absolutely perfect on paper. The money is right, the title is right, but there's this relentless check in your spirit, like a closed door you just keep trying to pry open. That is a signal of restraint. Conversely, peace can sometimes accompany a decision that makes absolutely no logical sense to anyone else, yet you feel entirely settled about it. But remember the catch here. Clarity rarely comes in constant noise. You have to carve out the quiet to actually sense that peace or feel that restraint. Here's the most reassuring part of this entire process regarding that final step. You do not need the full picture. You don't need a 10-year plan mapped out to the final detail. Obedience in the present unlocks direction for the future. Think of it like walking through the woods at night with a tiny flashlight. The beam only illuminates the next 3 feet of the path. It doesn't show you the final destination, but it shows you just enough to take the next safe step. Taking a small, faithful step today with what you already know, that is exactly what opens up the path for tomorrow. Finally, section 5, finding peace and alignment. Look, if you take away nothing else from our time together today, please remember this core principle. Clarity becomes clear through consistency, alignment, and time. It's a process of unfolding. Direction isn't some prize handed out to those who rush ahead blindly and try to force doors open. No, it's a profound gift reserved for those who stay aligned long enough to actually recognize the quiet voice guiding them. I want to leave you with one simple prayer. Take a moment of calm reflection right now. Take a deep breath and just let these words settle. God, quiet the noise around me and within me. Help me to stay aligned, recognize your guidance, and move with confidence in what you are forming, even when I don't see the full picture yet. As you log off today and step back into the rhythm of your life, ask yourself this one provocative question. Are you frantically chasing instant clarity, or are you finally willing to slow down and cultivate the quiet alignment required to truly know your next step?